So coming out to what could potentially be regarded as the meat of this application is what we would call these work orders, right? So many different organizations would have different labels and names for what we would call a work order. Some companies might call them service calls, some might call them service tickets. What's neat here with this product called Fieldpoint is that I can click on this design mode at the top left-hand side of my screen because I am an administrator of the application, therefore I can see the button. What this tool here allows me to do is to go into my form designer and I can essentially just drag and drop and make this form look the way I want. So out the box, there's a lot of information displaying on these screens. Most organizations would say, this is too much. I don't necessarily need all of that. Or maybe I do want all of it, but I'm at least going to collapse some sections so that it's not so daunting at the data collection stage, right? And this just allows for very simple drag and drop, move things around. Again, very much like the Microsoft Dynamics products. And if I want to change labels, make certain fields required, all the functionality is there to make this as simple as possible. Again, trying to empower the end user or our customers as much as possible. So what's neat with this example of a work order, short of taking it all the way through, which would probably take a little bit more time than what's called here for the webinar, but what's neat in how we track the life cycle of this call are these arrows along the top, right? So in here is where I can go in and see when was it entered, scheduled, show me the entire life cycle of that particular call. And this is true really for any record in the product. That we can go ahead and just use some of the stamping in here to see when was the resource on site, when did they mark it complete. It gives you all of that tracking all the way through. And of course, as I look at this particular call, I can look up things like the equipment that was serviced. I can go to my appointments tab if I wish to see all the time records that were entered. Perhaps it was done by one person or a crew of people. We have our parts detail in here. Again, very strong integration with Business Central in the way of things like inventory management and purchasing as necessary. And then even just some of the detail around totals, just to show me how we fared on this work order. Either a simple little costing screen, or you can use something a little bit more advanced like this one that shows estimate to actual, and will actually break out by category all of the revenue that was generated. Okay, so lots of that visibility, much like what we saw in a project. This is just a simpler version of the project and designed to be much more transactional, a work order, as you can